When my parents took me to the first day of kindergarten, my father told the kindergarten teacher that my IQ had been tested. It was extremely high, and to expect me to be an excellent student, maybe one of the best in the class. There was just one little catch to this, though. My dad totally made that up. It wasn't true. I wasn't tested. As a matter of fact, my parents didn't even know what my IQ was. But the teacher believed my father. And so if I wasn't getting something in class, gave me a little extra attention. And likely did hundreds of things based on this belief. Now, I did well enough that the kindergarten teacher decided to talk me up to the first grade teacher. I've got this great student, Mike Martin, wait until you get him. And this cycle actually repeated for several years of my formative education. I lived a self-fulfilling prophecy here. And so this, as you can imagine, had a profound effect on my life, all based on something my dad made up, all based on belief. So what does this prove? Other than the fact that my dad had a ton of guts to do this and a lot of faith in me, it proves the power of belief and attitude. What we and others believe is everything. Now, because I lived this self-fulfilling prophecy, I've been kind of obsessed with personal development and achievement ever since I was little. I used to tell the other kids how to play games better, follow rules more accurately, and engineer fun, which I'm sure they loved me for. Now, as I got older, I continued this pursuit, striking out on my own as a freelance consultant just 2 years after graduating from Villanova University. And now my prophecy was to be an excellent consultant. And I went on in my career to build successful consulting practices. But I reached this point where I was struggling. I had a task list so long I would never finish it. I'm sure there are still tasks on that list. I felt like my time was not my own, working very long hours, a calendar booked with what seemed to be back-to-back meetings all day, every day, and I was traveling away from home on business quite often. My relationships suffered across the board. I wasn't anything close to what you would call happy. Why? Well, I was waiting to reach a goalpost that was constantly being moved by me, waiting for some external achievement to magically make me happy. And I was too focused on work and earning money, and not enough on the important relationships in my life. I was not directing my life anymore. It was just happening to me. The Harvard study of adult development has been running for 85 years, and it's still going on today, studying happiness and what it takes to thrive in this world. What that study found is the number one factor in living a happy, healthy, and successful life isn't money or fame or even achievement. Rather, it is having healthy, meaningful relationships. So if relationships are what's most important, what does this mean for that thing I've been chasing? Achievement, or success, or even earning a living? Well, I now realize that that's not an either-or question. But I understand that achievement and success, happiness, and relationships are intrinsically linked. So I reached another point where I decided to start a new prophecy as the CEO and founder of my own company, where I work with business owners and leaders, CEOs and executives, to have the businesses and careers they desire, to live better lives, and importantly, avoid those pitfalls I fell into. This new prophecy took me back to directing my life again. And I now really understand that happiness is not, cannot, and should never, ever be dependent on some external factor or achievement, but rather it is completely under our control, determined by our focus. So, self-fulfilling prophecies like the one I lived, what are they? Well, they're a cycle of beliefs and actions. Our beliefs about ourselves, the world, and our situation drive our actions. The actions we take impact what others believe about us. And of course, others' beliefs drive their own actions. And how others treat us reinforces that belief we started with, completing the cycle. And this repeats over and over, eventually making the prophecy at the core of that cycle become real. Now, what if we could not only use this, influence this cycle, but amplify it, supercharging it to help us thrive? Well, we can. So, if beliefs and actions are the foundational elements of this cycle, what I have found through my coaching is that we can add supercharging ingredients to this cycle, and they're based on the coaching frameworks and methods I use with my clients. And I call this the self-fulfilling formula. A significant one of those frameworks is called positive intelligence, developed by Shirzad Chamine. Asking the question why only 20% of teams and individuals ever reach their true potential. What was found through neuroscience and research across multiple disciplines is the specific ways we get in our own way, limit, and sabotage ourselves. The good news is they also found that we can learn and train ourselves to overcome those saboteurs and be more positive and effective. So the first two ingredients in the self-fulfilling formula come from positive intelligence. The first one is called self-command. Here is where we learn to understand our unique saboteurs. And through practice, we learn to stop their automatic response and limit their negative effects on us. The second ingredient is called positive intelligence quotient. We call that PQ for short. Here is where we learn to amplify our sage-like qualities of empathy, innovation, activation, curiosity, and using our values to drive our path with meaning and purpose. And of course, we cannot forget about relationships. And I think about them in two ways. The first are those relationships that are significant and sustain our lives: spouse, significant other, partner, friends, family, and more. We need to honor those relationships and keep them healthy. The second way is those relationships that are helpful to us, like the saying, to go fast, go alone, but to go far, go together. We need others to help us on our path, and we need to be deliberate about connecting with them. Teachers, professors, mentors, coaches like me, managers, and more. But I'm not talking about transactional what's in it for me relationships. Those need to be genuine relationships. And ideally, there should be a tremendous overlap between the helpful and the significant relationships in our lives. Next up is what I call consistent, correct action. Here's where we focus on the process, the things we need to do, the actions to take to drive our cycle. So, how do we apply this to a self-fulfilling prophecy to create the self-fulfilling formula? Well, self-command ensures that the beliefs we start with are strong and affirming. ensuring the prophecies we create are beneficial. It also shields us from any potential negativity that might come from others. PQ stops us from sabotaging ourselves. We get out of the way and operate in a world of increasing positivity and ease and flow, enabling us to do the consistent, correct actions needed to drive our prophecy, because action is the engine of the prophecy. We focus on that, the process, and avoid getting overwhelmed with worry about only the results. When we do that, we will amplify our outcomes. We also amplify the beliefs we need others to have about us. And when we honor our meaningful relationships, others will prioritize favorable beliefs about us. And we will motivate constructive actions towards and with us. And now we have supercharged our self-fulfilling prophecy, creating a major positive flywheel in our lives, not only for achievement, but also to honor our relationships, bringing us closer to thriving, as the Harvard study points out. Now, everything I've talked about works amazingly well for the individual, but why stop there? Indeed, we can apply the self-fulfilling formula to teams, businesses, communities, and really any group. What if we thought about a longer view, about the better tomorrow we wanted to create? If businesses adjusted their models to be more relationship-centered with their employees, their customers, communities, and more. Not just customer-centric, but relationship-centric. Everyone they deal with would be drawn to these businesses, and they'd be even more successful. What if our society believed our economy could thrive with everyone earning a living wage? What prophecy about poverty could we create? What if the justice system explored innovative solutions to the cause of crime instead of just punishment? And what about conflict at all levels, from one-on-one interactions to the global stage? If, instead of vilifying the other side, we instead humanized each other with empathy. And that is just scratching the surface. Just imagine what a positive and better tomorrow we might create if more and more of us started creating bold, innovative, daring, self-fulfilling prophecies, and took action using the self-fulfilling formula to create a better tomorrow for ourselves, our groups, and even the world. And remember, it is never, ever too late to create a brand new self-fulfilling prophecy. What will yours be? Thank you.